The wait is finally over. Hyundai Motor India has dropped details on its much anticipated mega IPO. In this video, we'll break down whether this IPO is worth your investment or if you might want to sit this one out. So let's dive right in. Mark your calendars, the IPO opens on October 15th and closes on October 17th. Share allotment will be finalized by October 18th with a tentative listing date on October 22nd. Now, Hyundai Motor India's IPO price band has been set at around 1865 to 1960 rupees per equity share. And this isn't just any other IPO. At the upper end of this price band, it's set to raise a massive 27,870 crore rupees, making it the biggest IPO in India's history, even surpassing that of LIC's 21,000 crore public issue. Let's talk the structure. 50% of the IPO is reserved for qualified institutional buyers, 15% for non-institutional investors, and 35% for retail investors. But it's important to note here that this is a complete offer for sale, meaning Hyundai's parent company will be offloading 14.2 crore equity shares, which is about 17.5% of their total equity. Also, note that Hyundai Motor India won't receive any proceeds from the sale. Now, for those not in the know, Hyundai Motor India is the second largest OEM and the second largest exporter of passenger vehicles in India, holding a 14.6% market share. However, some recent numbers raise eyebrows. Hyundai sold 64,201 units in September, down 10% year on year. For 2024 so far, sales have been flat with 5.77 lakh units sold, showing no growth from the previous year. So, should you jump on this IPO? To help you make an informed decision, we are joined by KRANTHI Bathini, Director of Equity Research at WealthMills Securities, who will share his expert take. KRANTHI, thank you for giving us time here on News 9. What's your assessment of Hyundai's upcoming IPO? Who is it for and what kind of investors should consider participating?
Definitely, Suyash. Investors with a long-term horizon, definitely they can invest in Hyundai IPO. The main reason is just look at the India story with respect to four-wheeler auto space is concerned. Hyundai, they entered in India with the Santro, the iconic model in 1998. And look at their journey in India past almost 26 years. They had a phenomenal journey. They understood Indian roads. Many of the European, American players, they could not able to understand Indian market. In this 26 years, many brands that came into India and they exited India. Look at Ford is of course trying to re-enter in India, General Motors, Opel, many, they could not able to, still there are many players, they could not able to understand the Indian roads and Indian consumers rather. Hyundai Motors, they could able to sustain all these years and now they are coming up with the IPO. It's a welcoming thing. We are having one more original equipment maker apart from the Maruti, Tatas and Mahindras right now. So it's a welcoming move. First of all, company with a strong track record. They have went through all the policy changes in India. They have witnessed all the roller coaster rides, policy. They understood very well India and they understood Indian consumer, that is extremely important for a OEM. And now they are venturing into spaces like EV. Of course, they are not pioneer. They're making their footprints into EV space. They have all segments of vehicles to reach out to the Indian consumers.
Hyundai now is seeking a multiple of 26 times its earnings for its IPO, while in the Korean market, it's trading at a multiple of just about 5 times its earning. What explains this valuation mismatch and how should investors interpret it?
Suyash, one need to look at India's growth story. And as an emerging nation, we are growing at above 7% and we are expected to continue this growth pattern for the next coming years and GDP is going to double. So look at the per capita incomes of people. Still in India, majority of the portions of the economy, still car is a luxury. It's not, now it's getting into comfort and comfort has becoming into necessity. That's what the curve is. When the four-wheeler becomes a necessity, that's where these markets are going to explode in India. So there is immense growth because considering this growth pattern and also the way the exuberance of IPO market, what we witnessed, of course, last 1 week the sentiment has changed a bit, but still, given the kind of the long-term outlook of Indian OEM space is concerned, the valuations looks attractive to me. So investors with a longer-term horizon, one can definitely consider Hyundai Motors as an investment avenue.
Okay, so to clarify, is this really a win-win situation for both investors and Hyundai? I mean, I asked this because I was reading this brokerage report that mentioned Hyundai's Indian arm contributes only 6.5% of global revenue and about 8% of the overall profitability of the company. Yet Hyundai India is being valued at 42% of the parent's overall market cap. Doesn't this suggest that the issue is being aggressively priced?
Suyash, very interesting theme, the question you asked. See, whenever any promoter that comes to primary market, okay, they try to get a more premium valuation for the company. That's what the investment bankers they try to do. But given the kind of the long-term outlook and also the management quality, that's very important for these kind of companies. So given the kind of management quality and the way they sustain their business in India, okay, they can look for a premium valuation, because I can say, because last 1 week there is a change in the mood of the market. So you are everybody talking about the valuation. Otherwise, people were jumping and buying companies which don't have that much great fundamentals also. Just a fortnight back, that was a scenario. So given the kind of the current market mood is concerned, I can sense it is fairly valued than talking about exorbitant valuation. It's fairly valued. It's both for investors for a longer term horizon. Definitely we can look. I'm not discussing about the grey market premiums or what kind of listing gains people are going to look. For a long-term investment horizon is concerned, definitely Hyundai one can keep on the radar.
All right. Do you think there is a timing issue with Hyundai's IPO and that it may not gather as much momentum given the slowdown in the passenger vehicle market, slow adoption of EVs, and the current, downturn in market sentiment that we are witnessing? Could all of these factors rather affect investor interest and the overall success of the IPO?
Yeah, that is a good question, but Suyash, okay, it's a mega IPO. Okay, it's not a small IPO where they can come, because they planned it very well, but the current market sentiment and the geopolitical issues have changed the mood of the market. Otherwise they're coming up with the right time, but the market mood changed the entire scenario. It's a mega IPO. 25,000 crores in the recent past. This is one of the mega IPO for the investors. So the timing is nobody's control because of these kind of mega big IPOs are concerned. So yeah, of course, it do have some kind of sentimental impact. We need to see how the anchor book is going to be, because the DIs have been sitting at a fair amount of cash, and they want to deploy this kind of IPO. So we need to track next couple of days how the anchor book is going to be. So that gives the greater outlook for the company. I'm sure given the kind of management quality and all, there will be a demand that do comes for Hyundai Motors IPO.